Hi there, Brandi here again from the Support Center in Omak and Okanogan County. Um, Today we're doing Chapter 2 of Boundary Power called What Are Boundaries? This book was written by Mike S. O'Neill and Charles E. Newbold. It's a workbook for victims of domestic violence and any other crimes. So let's get started. My father was a classic alcoholic and an absentee drunk. When he drank, he usually left home. Drinking 2 quarts of vodka a day was mild. After 3 days, you never knew he was drinking. If you couldn't smell him, you couldn't tell him. He was in and out of blackouts. My mom was a classic codependent who had to be both mom and dad. So growing up in a home with no boundaries, figuratively speaking, we didn't have a front door on the front and a back door on the back of our house. We called Mother Saint Irma the martyr of Norman, Oklahoma, because she cared for everyone and anything, stray dogs, cats, stray humans, whatever. We came in the front door of our house and our lives, took what they wanted, then walked out the back door. If they found somebody else that needed help, they'd bring them back with them the next time they came. My father was one of those people coming in and out. It was a classic alcoholic family. Neither of them knew anything about boundaries, so setting boundaries was a completely new concept for me, as it may be for many of you. A boundary is a limit or an edge that defines us as separate from others. They define where you end and I begin, or vice versa. We can sum up boundaries in one simple phrase: I am not you. Boundaries tell you who you are, and they give you a sense of self. Boundaries show us where unsafe places are in relationships and how to avoid them and protect ourselves. When someone crosses a line and tries to control your feelings, attitude, behaviors, choices, and values, it is called a boundary violation. Violating boundaries affects the person as a whole. It affects the spirit, mind, emotion, will, and the body. Whether you know about boundaries or not, we still have some natural instincts for them. Otherwise, we would not be traumatized when our boundaries are violated. Something within us that a certain action tells us when a certain action or attitude is wrong. And there are 5 or 4 phases of setting boundaries. One is to establish that there's a need for a boundary. You need to state what your boundary is, commit to it, and preserve it, and then assert your rights. So the idea of boundaries initially sounds like a simple thing to understand, and change. But as we learn more, it becomes a bit more entangled when we begin to apply them in our lives. So this is just kind of a basic rundown on what boundaries are, how important they are in everyday lives, and how we need to do them. And another thing is, setting boundaries is a lot like just letting, people know that you are you and they are them, and what they what they think about you doesn't matter. It's about your boundaries, your needs, and their boundaries and their needs. So being able to keep your boundaries in place and accept their boundaries is the whole entanglement of this idea of setting boundaries and understanding and how to change them. The next chapter we'll be going over in Boundary Powers is why we need boundaries. So come back next for the next video. Have a great day.